professional people. And over time, it just sort of like wants to go back to the front. So yeah, I apologize for that. And also shirt, because I don't suit shirts at all. Anyway, I missed yesterday, so I thought I'd jump on and make sure that I got today sorted. So this will be another twofer. I apologize, Darius. But I'll be quick. I'll be brief. So the two things are there evil races in your realm, such as Drow? And are there many underground locations in your world? I'll start by addressing the first one, because that'll be the quickest to knock out. Yes, the world is essentially hollow. You've got a couple of miles of like dirt and rock and stuff. I say a couple of miles. You've probably got about 10 miles of that. And then hollow earth. You have like dinosaur realms underground and stuff. Most of it, however, is demon realms. And a lot of it conforms to generally what people expect of subterranean realms and things. It's hot, it's dark, there's lava flows, and yeah, that's just the hells. So things that are immune to fire. Also, like at the center of the planet will be a realm of fire that just also happens to have lots of demons in. So it's like a hellfire plane thing, but also lots of planes of fire shooting off from it because lava flows and going to volcanoes and whatnot. So yeah, there are loads of underground locations. There are temples and tombs and stuff from long forgotten civilizations that just dig from the surface to, near the ground. I'm about to sneeze, and I apologize because I'm allergic to something. Oh, excuse me. I've got hay fever, but only at night. So there's some pollinating plant out there that only pollinates in the evening. Anyway, so that's the underground. The other thing is evil races in your realm. I've touched on this briefly in another one where I talked about alignment. Yes, there are evil races. No, there aren't evil races. Evil in the alignment sake thing. English is forsaking me this evening, and I apologize. As far as alignments go, in the alignment scheme of things, yes, there are evil races. There are no races where every single member is evil through and through with no good reason to be. So that plant is a proper. I hate that plant. Whatever it is, it seems to have the occasional year off. I don't know what it is. It's like every 3-4 years or something. And around this area, we get the similar cycle with ladybirds as well. Like just every 3 years, the population will just. So I don't know what that is. Anyway, sorry, ladybugs for the Yanks in the audience. Anyway, evil races. The Drow and Orcs will be among those. The Drow I use as the stereotypical example of this is an evil race that does things that, from our point of view, are just out and out evil. So they rape and pillage and torture, they steal things, and they just generally are out for themselves. They are a very greedy group of people that just from birth are raised in a culture where that is what you do. Similar to how Russian culture has been described to me as very sort of gang oriented. There's stories of Putin being a bit of a mobster in his youth, and that being well respected in the community. So actually him coming out and saying, I threatened people in exchange for goods and money and prestige, and the general population are like, yeah, that's a good way to make some money when you're young. Like that's like we see that as evil, but internally that's not evil, because it's basically it's you looking out for yourself and making good for you and your family, and everyone in that culture just respects that. It just respects that, right? You're making it work for your family. I wish I could do that. So showing off with like flashy cars and expensive things, it's got this weird counterintuitive thing where the community like rallies around that. And we used to have that sort of thing in, and you still do in a lot of rural areas of Britain. where you have a lot of people that are just like, oh, that person's doing well for themselves. That's great. But in our culture generally, we get a lot of jealousy. As more and more rural areas are being semi-urbanized by being connected to the internet and stuff, and our culture is becoming more and more homogenized. You're seeing that this jealousy of other people's things is starting to take root again. So taking that sort of aspect of sociology and sliding it into my D&D games, drow are going to be like that. They're going to be a twisted perversion of society, so that internally they're not just going to like stab each other in the back all the time, but externally to others they are going to be very selfish and unforgiving. Orcs, different. They are going to be the example of how alignment makes things evil. So orcs are good people, and they are very good to their friends that they make, and they are open to making friends. They don't just go out and do harm. They have a very strict honor system, but they worship an evil deity. Cosmically speaking, they are aligned with the forces of evil, and so they are seen generally as evil. And their general outlook and way to do things will be similar to the drow, but very watered down. It is all about what will make the orc people great and strong. But they do have some respect for other groups. So they will recognize that, okay, there are some giants over there, there are some goblins over there. It's going to be easier for us to move the goblins out of the way and for us to take over that land. Let's go and talk to the goblins and take it. If the goblins say no, well, we've got our weapons to intimidate them. If the goblins still say no, we've got our weapons to kill them. We gave them a chance because this is what our god decrees. And so it's back to that sort of looking at world history and different cultures and things. Again, Britain, the British Empire. We went around the entire world thinking we're bringing civilization to these people. It's going to be great. Now, that was not great from their point of view. And so when you're looking at a cosmic point of view, you're doing what your god wants. You're doing what your deity prescribes. And what the deity prescribes in this case is evil, cosmically speaking. Compared to the other gods that have called what they do good, these gods are doing what they call evil. And so it's not this subjective, well, it's good for my people, but evil for you guys, that they know and understand it as evil. It's just what they call good and evil don't have quite the same meanings as it do for us. For us, it's very subjective because there is no objective morality. In D&D, there is. So they're just aligning themselves. It's like a political alignment thing. It's like going, well, I'm far left, left-leaning, centrist, right-leaning, right-wing, far right. It's that sort of thing. It's not really about what you want to be, but swinging one way or the other just feels more right for you, or more left. So it's the same with good and evil in the world of the Taihun and in the world of D&D generally. It's just people don't seem to quite understand that that's what it is. I mean, when you're dealing with objectively, there are gods. There's good and evil, like objectively, because these gods have decreed it. So yeah, that's how I'm handling evil races. So there are evil races in the realm. There's the drow, there's the orcs, beholders, same thing, chromatic dragons. So there are evil races in the world that are just out and out evil, but they're also not just out and out evil. You will find a red dragon that you will get on with, that you can, convince him to polymorph into humanoid form, go down to the pub, have a few beers with. You will find a group of orcs that want nothing more than to just sit around and not take part in the general orc way of things. They will still believe in the deity, they will still worship their deity, but perhaps not practice everything that the deity prescribes. And they'll just be like, well, the orc society generally, we're not going to bash it, but we're not taking part in it. So you can have a lawful good orc, but the race is evil. The race as a distinct group of people. They have their gods. They have their people that they worship, and those people are evil. It just so happens that in the case of the world of the Taihun, because the gods are this one pantheon, what a lot of the evil races worship is either a twisted idea of the Taihun, or they are worshipping things that are not quite gods. Great old ones from beyond the stars, which are elder brains of the mind flayers, Cthulhuoid things. So they are worshipping those, masquerading as other gods. They are worshipping fiends and fae that are just saying, I'm quite godlike, I can bring about power. Here you go. In one instance, you actually have a wizard that claims to be a god, using spells and illusions to make it seem like he is a god. And he's got this entire kingdom believing that he is a god. They no longer worship the Taihun. It's all him. And it's crumbling around his feet because he can't quite maintain the illusion, so to speak. He can maintain his illusion spells. They all think that he's really a god, but all his promises are starting to fall through because he can't quite keep up with it all. But that's another thing for another day. I will let Darius go and get some sleep. So thank you for joining me again, Darius. Thank you. And yeah, to whoever watches this in the future, thank you for coming, watching. Remember to go and check out Absolute Tabletop and everything that they're doing, because this project wouldn't be here without them. And yeah, if you're in the UK, if you can make it to Manchester on May the 5th, I will be doing the Hidden and Stranger Collectibles event running D&D there. I think it's like £6 entry or something, and there's some concessions prices. Come by, and I'll run a game of D&D for you. Thank you, and see you later. Bye.